Good evening, everybody. This is the Stephen D. Kelley Show. My name is Stephen D. Kelley. We are Truth Cat Radio. It is 7:03 p.m. West Coast time, Pacific time, September 13th, 2018. All right, a lot of people have been, well, not a lot of people, but there are a couple of people bitching that I goof off and mess around, waste too much time, and don't get to the meat of the show right away at the beginning. Well, I'm sorry, that's the nature of live radio. Sometimes we goof off because we give the listeners a chance to catch up, the ones that haven't tuned in right away. Anyway, so you guys that are listening to this on YouTube, be advised we're not editing anything. What you're getting everything, and we're not going to be going back over this later, removing anything, rearranging stuff, and misrepresenting the show. All right, we have a special show tonight. Tonight's guest, of course, I know many of you are pretty excited about this, but we've got hang on, we've got Michael Lewis Arthur Meyer. All right, dude, if I call you Screwy Lee tonight, deal with it, because there's, all right, you're famous, you got to deal with that stuff. Of Veterans on Patrol. Okay, now I'm just going to give you a real brief description because there's other stuff I got to say real quick before we get into that. But that's who we got tonight, and I think he's got one of his associates with him here, and they're with us from Arizona, from the border. He's got 2 hours to tell us everything, and we're going to get into it. And be advised that this is not we're not here to judge and say you did this or you did that. What we're here to do and get that information from the source. And of course, so much has happened, and we'll get into that. But before I do that, I got to remind everybody that, yeah, we are listener supported. Okay, that means that we depend on your donations, as so many people do. And yeah, we take PayPal, and the PayPal is StephenKelley714@gmail.com, and it's that information will be available to you on the video or at the Facebook or whatever. But anyway, if you do it, it's for friend or family so that we get the whole thing. And we're not getting rich, but that pays the bills. Okay, so that's out of the way. All right, let's get into it. Okay, before I get into it, I just want to say that a little brief history. When this thing first started, I had the QAnon group, and I started seeing all the live videos that were coming out of VOP, Team Polanski. And as you all guys all know, or those of you that have been in my group for a while, you know that I don't allow any live videos. It's nothing against this guy here, but it's just that I routinely, I just remove them. And anyway, but that was what they were putting out, so they all got removed. And Craig Sawyer got involved, and to me, obviously, you all know I have an issue with Craig Sawyer, so right away I thought everything was a bunch of BS. Well, anyway, a lot has come and gone, and I've said a lot of crap, put out videos. I've been trying to go out there and pull off offensive videos and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to backtrack per se, but we all learn from our mistakes, and new information comes to light, and it's just the way it is. We don't always see the big picture immediately, just like I'm sure my guest here tonight has learned a lot of stuff too. Oh, okay, RD can't come in, but you're there. Okay, thanks, RD. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna turn it over to him, but let me see what else I need to say before I got interrupted there, RD. Thank you very much. All right, but bottom line is that I got this letter from what I believe was anonymous. Looked pretty valid to me, and they talked a lot. They shed information that we're going to be talking about tonight about the events that took place in Arizona. And as I've said in the videos, if you've watched my videos, you know that I've said that the most important thing to come out of this event was that it put a spotlight on CMEX and Carlos Slim. And it turns out that was a really big deal, because we're finding out now that everything that we're fighting against right now is involving these billionaires, and Carlos Slim is certainly one of the biggest ones that we have to deal with, certainly one of the dirtiest ones, connected to the most dirty people that we're fighting. And naturally, Craig Sawyer is connected to them. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring out Lewis here. And Lewis, go ahead and unmute your microphone.
Should be unmuted. You hear me?
All right, you're good. Good. All right, listen, I just want to ask you a couple of quick questions here real quick before I turn you loose. First of all, you got a buddy there with you? Do you want to tell us about him real quick or what?
You want
Well, I mean, is he going to be involved? You might want to introduce himself, say hello.
He's out here. I've got a couple there with me. We're down here on the border right now. So
all right. Okay, cool. Are you outdoors or what?
Yeah, we're outdoors. We live outside in the desert.
Of course. We live outside. Yeah. Hey guys. Anyway, all right. So you got it on speakerphone. Everybody can hear. Right on. Okay. All right. This is the thing. Now, forget about Bundy Ranch. Forget about Pete Santilli, that fucker. Okay, and all that bullshit. Okay, and everything else. All right, and all the allegations of whatever. I mean, hell, I've been in jail. Okay, everybody. Hello. You know, you can find that out if you dig. But so all that stuff aside, as I said before, it doesn't matter because what matters is this guy set up this organization. I mean, he set up other stuff too, but he set up this VOP thing. So he's going to tell us about VOP. And then the VOP, of course, has got different, well, I don't know what you want to call it, chapters or something in different areas. And one of them was responsible, and again, I guess that's Team Polanski, whatever, you'll tell us about that too, was responsible for stumbling upon the CMEX site and figuring out, hey, there's something dirty going on here. And then you got involved. Okay, so let's start with starting VOP and when was that, and take us up to the CMEX thing, okay?
Well, our ministry has been operating for over 5 years, and it's the Walking for the Forgotten ministry. And we started Walking for Veteran Suicide Awareness and trying to give the moms and dads and husbands and wives and sisters a voice. Every hour you lose a veteran to suicide. And it's something our family has always been very passionate about trying to bring solutions to. So what our ministry did is we created multiple programs for veterans designed to, remember, I'm a civilian. A lot of people say, well, Lewis isn't a veteran. Well, I never said I was. And there's been dozens of news stories that report me as a veteran advocate, a well-known and respected veteran advocate in Tucson until the finding of this child sex trafficking camp. But, Veterans on Patrol, I started a walkabout to live with homeless veterans because Mayor Greg Stanton and Michelle Obama and John McCain went on TV in Phoenix and they told everybody that they ended homelessness amongst veterans. We were fighting for that at that time for Iraq and Afghanistan veteran, Army Ranger Edwin Alex Cordero, who were fighting for his right to be with his children and to be with them in peace. And his story was a nightmare. So he told me when I was advocating for him and fighting, doing everything I could to draw attention and get support around him, that there were homeless veterans all over Phoenix. And, I thought he was just like bullshitting me, and I go and check all the time because you never know when someone's trying to pull a scam on you or anything like that, but he told me, he's like, no, he's like, they're all over, So I went to do a 22-day walkabout, and I just went out to go do 22 days, live with homeless veterans. And on the Camelback corridor, within 24 hours, I came across 50 homeless veterans just in the Camelback corridor. And you're talking, I only walked like 10 miles down that corridor that day. And I was blown away. There were homeless veterans everywhere. There were amputees all over Camelback. And then what I did was I was just living with them and trying to figure out what their problem was so we could find a way to help them, and reaching out to other veterans because, it was going to take veterans to pull veterans off the streets. It's one of the things I learned. I'm capable, and there are other civilians that are good and they can get out there and coax a vet out. But 9 times out of 10, you need to send a veteran to get these guys out of the desert and off these streets. So we started reaching out, and I built a little camp. And then one night, a Black Lives Matter group in Phoenix attacked us on Camelback. They came in. I laid a guy out with a pipe. PD came in when the fight was breaking off. They was running off, but they were more interested in questioning the homeless that were there. They didn't realize I wasn't homeless, that I was just living with them and documenting what was going on. And all this transpired on Facebook. And then a call got sounded out because they had threatened us when they ran away, because we marched with flags down. We carried flags and veteran suicide awareness signs when we were marching down Camelback to help the homeless vets. And they had threatened to shoot anyone with the flag. So we sent out a call, and God sent people from all over. There were hundreds in Phoenix that rolled up, biker clubs, everybody. And then everybody came out, and we marched down Camelback from 19th Avenue all the way down to 7th Avenue and basically kicked out every pimp, drug dealer. I mean, every bad guy gone. We had roving patrols going up and down the neighborhood. All the homeless started to come up to Camelback, and we were working just to get them off the streets, calling in city service providers. And it's through stumbling upon their problem, and then we had a crisis, and we stood our ground. And then we designed a program. And as we did this, I lived with them for 3 years. And that's how I know without a doubt that myself or no one else in any of these city hall meetings or even in DC know how to take care of a homeless veteran. I lived with them for 3 years, and you'll never understand exactly what it is they've gone through, why they're out there, and you just never get it, and it's something that you have to understand. So we figured that with the suicide death rates between the Iraq and Afghanistan vets coming back, a lot of it is related to the opioid crisis and us pumping them full of psychotropics and pharmaceuticals, that if we could get some of these younger vets that were in a crisis out to search with us for the older Vietnam vets and the Korean War vets we were targeting, we could give them a purpose and get them in the same environment, the desert environment, the washes, get them out doing something good. And we noticed with the younger soldiers that volunteered in our ministry, when they got with these older Vietnam vets, it was like a magic happened. It was like a bridge you just would have to see it. It's like the old war fighter meets the young war fighter, and they're both still like, they're just clinging on, man. And I've seen so many people just find hope just from going out to give someone else hope. And it's a highly successful veteran suicide prevention program. We've had moms and families and people have sent us veterans from across the country, and they're in crisis. And then we get them out and we get them in our program. It don't work all the time. Nothing's flawless, but we don't have veterans in our program that we've lost to suicide. We only have one veteran in our ministry that we've lost to suicide. And we're blessed because you have one every day or one every hour in America, average 22 a day. So we designed homeless veteran shelters, and we would go out and live with homeless veterans wherever the city was coming in to try to bulldoze camps or chase them from one wash to another. If we found large homeless communities, we would go trespass on public lands with them, if they call it that, whatever. We would go in with teams, and we would try to get all the trash picked up, get these guys services, just something other than, hey, we're going to bulldoze your camp, and you're just going to move across the other side of the bridge, and we're going to come do it again in a week, or either that, or we're going to throw you in jail. I mean, none of that was a solution. So we just found through all the needs that were discovered in the homeless community with us living out there, that if we got people together, we could fulfill those needs. And we designed a program, and Bravo Base Camp Conklin, it can save the city of Tucson of $1 million a year in free community services. Now, it's not with our ministry no more. Because of all this has transpired, we had to do what we had to do to protect them and sever them from our ministry. So, but that camp is still ran by homeless vets, and everything there, and there's hundreds of thousands of dollars that's been invested just in that program and property and the camp alone. And every single dime, everything belongs to the homeless vets. And that's what we've always wanted to do, was to set up a charity line where 100% of material support went to where it was intended to go. And you didn't have people sending money, taking payments for themselves, having to pay for advertising and things like that. We just wanted a real charity. It's in our book, in our Bible, and that's what I believe. And a real charity doesn't have a 501c3 attached to it. It's not the way we run our ministry. It's got government involved. And we believe in the separation of church and state. So
All
Veterans
right,
on
let me
Patrol.
just say something here really quick, if you don't mind me interrupting.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, hang in there. Okay, I just want to say for the listeners and for the people that are going to be listening to this in the future, okay, there's nothing wrong with him trying to raise money for this, what he's doing right here. Okay, so,
No, we don't raise money. No one
well,
can
I
take
mean,
money.
to whatever it is that you guys get to do your thing. I mean, it's okay. I just want to say this right now because I want to separate that aspect of your ministry from the other parts of stuff we're talking about, such as the event that took place and uh, the overall mission. See, there's a couple of missions here. You have your mission, of course, which is to take care of the vets and the guys around there in that area where you're at. And then there's also obviously there's a secondary mission. Well, there's not really secondary to a lot of people, but the whole business with the child trafficking, human trafficking, and all that. Obviously, we're very much interested in that. But so what I'm trying to say is that the focus of your mission, your primary mission, of course, and is going to remain taking care of the people, like you're doing right now. And so I just want people to know that we support that, and whatever it is that you got to do that, that's fine. Now, so people need to understand that is separate from the CMEX plant business. Okay, we should say that the ongoing operation, which is VOP, which is exactly what you've been talking about up until now, is a noble thing, but on its own, it's a noble thing, and it shouldn't really be considered as in any way whatsoever, attached to the hip of this other issue, which is, of course, the CMEX plant and the discovery of the evidence of human trafficking, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so I just want to clear that up. Okay, go ahead, continue.
Well, in one way, I can tell you that it is related because we designed a homeless veteran search and rescue mission, and we've been running that, and it's been a 3-year program that we built. And during a search and rescue, and not so much a rescue, but as search a grid, we always say search and rescue because the goal is to find a vet, pull them out of the desert, and get them into Camp Conklin. We partnered with American Rehab Campuses in late May. We designed a Facebook page a day or two before discovering this new camp. And the original Facebook design was ARC and VOP. And our team would go out and disrupt the drug dealers and the drug trade, and their recovering addicts, their street team would go out and pull the addicts off of the streets. So we had an urban warfare type plan that we had drawn up to get out there and get more of our people off of the heroin and meth. And I mean, it's bad. It's horrible. That's the one thing keeping most of our people out there is the dope. And it was everywhere. I mean, it just flooded. You go any corner, it's just everywhere. It's crazy. And we went out with a joint search with American Rehab Campuses, and there is a group of 18 of us. Now there is a original video that ARC still has locked in a vault. One of the guys has it. It's the original video when we came across this camp. But we didn't know we were on CMEX property. We didn't know exactly where we were. We go out all the time in the city, and wherever there's open fences and homeless camping, we go in there and we're outreach teams. We're recognized by the city. So we're just doing what we normally would do. We've been doing this with the city. We had city service providers that partnered with us. They sent us so many homeless people. It's crazy. We got more referrals from the city than by anyone else. So we're just doing our job. And we come across the camp, and at some point you can see in the video where my tone was changing, and I pulled my team aside and I told them we got to get these kids out. We had a group of younger kids. They were still early in their recovery. I knew right away when the tree was there, and then we saw the underground cell, and I picked up a trash can lid and I looked in, and there's a GPS box, a Garmin GPS tracker box is sitting on top of the trash. And then they had these iPhone boxes. I knew that this wasn't a homeless camp, and this was most likely cartel related. We were on the I-19 corridor, but we were in the city limits of Tucson. We didn't know what property we were on. We didn't know it was CMEX. We didn't know that the Mexican mining company, Asarco, paid for a 30-year lease up front for that property, and they removed all the barricades. There's a lot we found out afterwards. But when we found the camp, we got the team out, and then I had my team out there. And ironically, we were going up the road because there were some vehicles parked up the road off of the property. We still didn't know it was CMEX property. We were keeping an eye on the camp because it wasn't something that was just abandoned. It didn't look like it did when the news got out there. That was after TPD and them had came out and took pictures and went through stuff, and they left everything. So we grabbed what they didn't grab. The comb with the children's hair follicles, the earrings.
Louis,
Yeah.
let me interrupt you here just for a second here, because you just brought up something that's really important. Okay, a SARCO, listeners. ASARCO.
Correct.
Grupo Mexico. Grupo Mexico ranks among the most important companies in Mexico, Peru, and the U.S. And it is one of the major copper producers in the world. Okay, so it'd be interesting to find out how much of this is owned by Carlos Slim. Anyway, go on, continue.
So we knew what was, I knew, I just didn't know the depths of it. There was just so much stuff there didn't make sense to me. So what I did was whenever I have an issue and I think it's related to the cartels or something in our city, I call Arizona Border Recon. I call Tim Naylor Foley because I flat out, we may have our issues, but I respect that man 100%. And he's a really good patriot and he knows his stuff. Well, Naylor couldn't get out there. I explained the situation. I said, yeah, this isn't right, man. And we had a group of Mexicans that were starting to build up over in the QT. So he said, well, hold on, I'm going to call someone. Then he calls me back and he says, you're going to be happy. I got a couple Navy SEALs that are going to be headed your way. And I'm like, good, right on. That's what I need. That's because, we had our Alpha company out there, but there was just 6 of us out there. And like, we knew what we stumbled upon was, there's just, you knew that, you done messed up. We stepped in it and we didn't ask for it, but we stepped in it. And, PD came out.
You were fucking with the big boys.
Well, see, but we didn't ask for that. And what most people need to understand is we didn't ask for that at all. But we couldn't walk away. See, when Naylor told me that a SEAL was coming and then Craig Sawyer shows up, he called me and I explained the situation. I said, I'm going ready to go down through with TPD, and go down so they can see the site and everything. I was like, but this place is still in use. There's activity over at the QT. I said, I'm going to get up on that tower and get in a position and watch the place all night. I said, that was just the game plan because Tucson Police Department said they wouldn't be able to send a detective out until the morning. And I'm sitting there looking at this camp and you've got lubes, pornography, all these children items. You've got onesies, underwear. You got an authentic rape tree. You've got an underground prison cell. You've got all this stuff there. And it's like, and they weren't going to send someone till the morning. Well, it turns out that their human trafficking division was in Florida the week that we discovered the child sex trafficking camp. So they had no one to send. And you can actually fact check that. That was one of the excuses they gave us. They just didn't disclose it to the public, that they had no one to send. And that's why we were left out there hanging for so long, they told me. But, Craig gets out there. He's full kit. We explained kind of what we're getting to. We walked down in there. He asked if I would take a picture with him. I said yes. He explained his outfit. And he said, I've got tier 1 operatives. I got the ability to run license plates. He's like, this is something I want to get my documentary crew out here. We're filming this. This is touching exactly what we're filming on. Like, and all we knew is this: we found a sex camp on I-19 corridor. He said flat out, he went through and he was explaining stuff. And he was, and this is a Navy SEAL, for crying out loud. I don't know him from Adam. All I know is that a lot of people knew him. He had a lot of good, positive support. He was, going after child traffickers. Who doesn't support a guy like that? So I was kind of starstruck when the guy came down. Now, there were other people around me who knew him personally and they weren't all sold on him, but in the beginning, you got to understand, none of us knew we were on CMEX property. None of us knew that it was leased by a Sarco. None of us knew about the Pioneer Landscaping and the Mayor Jonathan Rothschild's connections. None of us knew any of that. All we knew was that we had a camp the cartels were using to traffic children. and there was nothing but sexual items out there, and there was an authentic rape tree. Well, Craig Sawyer, Arizona Border Recon's leader, Naylor, and ADF's leader, they all said without a doubt, the Arizona Defense Force, and these are all people that know border, no cartels. They're all supposedly experts. That was the cartel was using that property. They found multiple routes where they were getting dropped off on I-19 and coming under the tunnels over to the CMEX side. There, and all through the property, there was over 80 pairs of children's shoes scattered through the property, children's clothes. And we've got live videos with so many of the residents that came over from the reservation saying that they never see kids out here. They don't ever see children out there, but all we have are all these car seats, strollers, shoes, children items, children toys, a child camp set up with an underground cell. And they were constructing a second one. But I trusted Craig when he came in. I trusted him all the way up to the point to where he didn't return my calls no more. And then I saw him go on Facebook and he posted a story saying that I was a sex offender and a criminal and a photoshopped sex offender registry.
Right. Let me ask you a question. Personal question. What came first, me fucking with you or him turning his back on you? Did he backstab you or before or after I was messing with you guys?
Oh, I don't know. Like I said, when that was going off, I had 200 something messages coming in my phone nonstop from all over the world. There were people that were contacting me, giving me information on CMEX, saying you need to check out the Podesta emails. Are you sure this is related to children? I'm like, yes, this is related to children. And just what the hell is it doing here? So then, we did our own. No one would come secure the scene. So we uncovered several notebooks. Some of the notebooks talk about ritual stuff, occult type stuff with different churches, blueprints for other designs of little underground bunkers and a way you can float them under trash on a river, on a barge. Yeah. And we just found all these items, but we also found a starting point.
Hang on. I got to say, damn. Okay, go ahead.
So we found a starting point on there too, a marking on the property. And from that marking, see, I don't know, like, here's my issue with Craig, maybe he do go out, maybe he does great stuff. I don't know. All I know is these people were more interested in documentaries, more interested in media and everything else. And I'm telling everybody, I know my law enforcement, they're standing down. Something isn't right. They never left our ministry hanging. Never once did we turn away a homeless veteran. Never once did we not take a family in need that they needed our help with. We've never turned our back on Tucson Police Department or Tucson Fire Department. We were well respected in that community. Something happened clear across the board. And then all of a sudden, when Craig Sawyer flipped, I knew it. And I just knew at that point, I said, we're in serious shit. Everything that people are sending me is true. This shit is all connected. And I said, well, the only way we're going to be able to prove it is to prove it. So we started at that point and we went out and we started uncovering all the trafficking routes and we took people on live video, and we went and found, and within 48 hours of leaving that property, we find a child's skull and Pima County says it's an adult male skull. We had a second person look at it and they're specialists with forensics, online forensics, at least produce the skull to the public like we're asking and let experts see it. So it said, all the teeth were removed, the lower jawbone was missing, the head was decapitated, and that child had been murdered within a couple weeks because there was still matter inside the skull. There was still matter inside of that skull. Yeah. Yeah, it was blazing hot out there.
2 weeks, 3 weeks to max,
Yeah.
It was a young kid.
It had to have been a young kid, just based because on that scientific. And we've asked people to do is call them and pressure them because we're not lying. And the evidence is their lack of evidence. They said it was a homeless camp. Craig Sawyer flipped. And then I find all this other stuff out. And then I find out he meets with CMEX officials after all this. And to me, it's like, well, it doesn't do me any good to talk about it because if we don't get out here and stop this movement, they're going to keep dragging children through these deserts. Some of these kids are going to end up in the hands of bad guys. Some of those bad guys are going to rape, torture, and sacrifice these children. That's a fact. If we know it's happening, we have a duty to stop it. That's what we're out here to do is just say, you can't drag kids through our neighborhood no more. We're done. our children are off limits. You know, you can't traffic them through our borders anymore. You know,
not going to be easy for you.
All right, guys, hang on a second here. We still got lots and lots of time, but I just want to share something real quick because here's one of the letters that I got from somebody, and this is somebody living in Costa Rica. Okay, and I don't know if you can hear that noise, but anyway. She basically said, now this is because of what you guys are doing, because of what's coming out here. And this is really brief, but she says, her name's Olivia. She's from Germany. She lived in Costa Rica for 10 years. And she says, here in Costa Rica, a lot of kids are missing. And lately we hear from the Philippine gangs are stealing them off the street, sometimes even out of their mother's arms. Last year we had a scandal here called Cemontazo. Here are some links. Okay, Cemontazo, obviously it's CEMEX. Okay, and she's giving me the links of the president, the directors, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a connection right there to the Philippines, and we know right after. Yeah, wow, no kidding, huh? And we know that where did Craig Sawyer go immediately after Arizona? He went straight to the Philippines, allegedly to film more bullshit child rescue operations. And what does he do instead? He goes to the big city to meet up with a bunch of billionaires, including Stephen Wu, who is the very, very, very secretive number 3 in charge of CEMEX Philippines Holdings. And he is the chief financial officer. And why is he meeting up with Craig Sawyer? And why are these guys so stupid that they got to have somebody that important in their operation meet with this guy? Why couldn't they have a bag man just hand him some cash? Why does that guy have to do it? So that's a big deal. So you got to wonder when events come up like this. I mean, obviously, don't you guys feel like you think they're going to put a hit out on you at any time? Don't you think? Huh?
You know, people say that, and I always tell people, you keep that negative shit off of us. I walk in faith, okay? And, you know, if God wants to call me home, fine. I'm saved. I know what hell's like. I came out of it. I go back into hell every day. My job's to pull someone else out. That's just the way I live my life. People don't like it, tough shit.
Okay,
but
right on. I agree. I agree.
And I ask people always, don't even speak negatively about that. You know, of course, yeah, everyone knows it can happen. Look at the Clinton body count. This is tied to the Clinton Global Initiative. If you look at the human trafficking routes we have connected, and we've done this with live video, taking our audience on these routes. We've walked these routes from the border up to all the way south of Casa Grande into Red Rock. And 100 miles north, we are chasing spotters off of the mountains that are signaling illegal traffic through our canyons and valleys. And we've taken and we've got all this stuff recorded. We've taken our audience out and shown them. And if you can see where the city of Tucson, the Pima County, the state, all your state, local, and federal and county governments have land purchased. And on those land purchases, they all line up on the same routes the illegals are using to traffic through. And the piggyback corridor for CEMEX actually went in to the heart of Tucson at one point and used to go out to certain areas where Casa de los Niños is, and then the Sabano community, because you have teams of PIs that's been investigating that. A lot, that stuff's not conspiracy theory. Before those WikiLeaks were released with the pedo symbols, these people they had it in plain sight everywhere, and it was right in front of your face, and you never knew it. Well, Tucson's a hub for pedophiles.
Now you know. Okay, hang on now. I want to talk a couple other things here. Okay, first of all, ASARCO. All right, big giant copper mining company, huge copper mining company. All right, now you mentioned Clinton Initiative. Okay, remember, Carlos Slim is the rich guy that's got the jet that flies around. Him and Frank Gustra and Bill Clinton going all over the world to these different countries, sucking up all their copper and their gold and their silver and everything else. You know, their cement factories, you name it. So there's that connection. Also, you've got the mayor of Tucson is a Rothschild. Okay, why did they stick a Rothschild in there? Why are they so interested in that corridor? And the same thing with John McCain. You know, whether he's John Shitstain, whether or not he's alive in a bunker or he was executed or what. The bottom line is that gangsters like him, along with big money scum like Rothschild, helped to make all this possible. And you know damn well, God bless them, a lot of the police officers are mostly all perfect gentlemen, but there's going to be a bunch of corrupt ones in there too that are probably getting bucks from Rothschilds, just like Craig's. Well, you know who the dirty ones are, okay?
Well, look, and that's, yeah, if you research this, you'll see Chief Magnus actually had to leave Southern California. He was covering up his officers abusing a child sex trafficking victim, a teenage girl that was being passed around. And, he's tied to all this sick shit. Well, he ends up our chief of police. And, when he came down 2.5, 3 years ago, I protested him in front of Mayor Jonathan Rothschilds at the city council, saying we didn't need him. I said, this guy's standing outside holding with Black Lives Matter after officers got assassinated, and he's holding a sign still promoting an agenda that's not even honest. All lives matter. You know what I mean? And it's like the guy was so political. He was the exact opposite of what our police force needed. And it wasn't because he was gay or anything like that. It was because of the shit that he was guilty of. Wait a
minute. Hold on. Who's gay? The mayor, Rothschild?
No. Chief of police, Christopher Magnus, our chief of police.
All right. Well, hey, people say, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but I'll give you an example. Our governor here in California, Jerry Brown, he's gay, okay? He was gay for 30 years and he never told anybody, okay? I mean, that's not cool because that means that we wouldn't have voted for him probably if he was honest. So, that's what I think. Hey, listen, is there anybody, again, we got lots of time, but since you got all these guys sitting around there, I just want to go around in a circle here and see who you got there. And because you said like you got vets and what have you. I'm kind of curious. First of all, my dad was a Korean vet, and I'm just, Korean vets are, oh my God, Korean vets got to be at least 70, 75 years old. You got any Korean vets sitting around there?
Not out here, but yeah. If you go to Arizona Korean War Veterans Association, Pima Chapter 13. Those guys are awesome. We pulled up Korean War vets off the streets.
Right. Okay, next, you got any Vietnam vets sitting there? Come on, Vietnam vets. Hands up.
Nope, this is the younger generation.
They got guys. Okay, Grenada. Anybody do Grenada, Panama?
Right around there. I served in Haiti in Operation Uphold Democracy in 1995.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
So, well, I served 8 years in the infantry. I served with the 10th Mountain Division, the 25th Infantry Division, and the 2nd Infantry Division. And I've been deployed all over the world, really. I've been to Panama 4 times, Thailand, Japan, Haiti. I served a 6-month combat tour in Haiti with Operation Uphold Democracy. And I've been all over the world, really.
All right, let me ask you a question. What's the most corrupt thing you've seen? I mean, they can't do anything to you now. They're not going to send you Leavenworth, I don't think. What's the most corrupt thing you've seen while you were in service?
While I was in service?
Yeah.
Well, I saw a sergeant of ours pocket a civilian's $5,000 in currency that we had cordoned and searched his residence. He had a big compound, and we thought there was weapons there. And one of our sergeants took and pocketed $5,000 of the guy's money, and then took it out when our battalion commander said, we're going to search everybody for it. He took it out of his cargo pocket and put it on top of the Humvee. And after we got back and redeployed to the Fort Drum, to the 10th Mountain Division, I never seen that guy again. They got rid of him so fast, I never seen him again.
Oh, there you go. That's a good thing. Okay. All right. Hey, thanks for that. Anybody else? I mean, okay, what else we got? We got Desert Storm. How about Kuwait? Anybody from do Kuwait? No? Desert Storm? No Desert Storm? Let me see what else we got.
Saudi Arabia. I was in the Air Force.
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it. Tell us about the Air Force. Huh?
I spent the turn of the millennium in Saudi Arabia. Nothing was, overly heavy there. But there were quite a few interesting things going on as far as dealing with the equipment wanting to survive in 140 degrees. But that's about it. The worst thing I saw was a male officer trying to get manipulated by a female officer for promotion. And the thought that because she was a female, she could manipulate the situation, and she did, in fact, succeed, because the male officer had to retire and she did get the promotion, but it was all based on sexual allegations. that never actually happened.
Cool. Listen, I really appreciate that. Listen, we had somebody just call in that wants to join us. It's a little bit soon for people to be joining us. Right now, we're just having a good time. We still got a lot of things to talk about and important stuff to focus on. But at the same time, you guys, this is going to be out there. It's going to be out there for a long time. And I don't know if you've done this before, but if there's anybody you want to say hello to, now's a great time to do that. If you want to say, hey, it's me, I'm here I am, okay? Anybody want to do that?
We just thank you to all of our supporters and the people who's been paying attention from day one, and let them know no matter what, we're going to make a new Facebook platform, but we got a mission to do, and we're going to keep coming out here and doing our job. That's what we're doing. So we appreciate everybody's support, and God bless them.
Right on. All right. Well, any other veterans there that want to say hi before we get back into the program here?
That's all of us.
There's only 3 of us here now.
Yeah. Okay. Everybody else went back to work. All right. All right. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and try to connect this person that just called us, and hopefully their phone is going to be working. And I want to advise everybody that's listening, if you do call because of the crap situation with Skype right now, I can't take your call. I actually have to call you back, and you have to make sure that your phone will accept a blocked call because Skype looks like it's blocked, okay? Anyway, I'm going to just go ahead and call the person that just tried to connect to us anyway and see who this is. If you guys hear a dial tone, you'll know what's going on. Oh, wait. Who's this? I want to remind. Oh, okay. We got it connected. Yeah. Hey, who's this?
My name's Keith Mason.
Keith. Okay.
I'm actually one of Louis' haters, but I actually have a question for him.
Okay. Hold on, dude. Hold on, man. Hold on. You got listen. If you're gonna be here, because I got a finger on the red button. Okay. So seriously, my finger's on the red button. So you got to work. You got to work with me. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Okay. All haters that want to address this dude, remember, just show lots and lots of respect and restraint. All right, and we don't want to waste a lot of time on this stuff too, because I recognize there are haters, but we got more important stuff to do. So could you do me a favor and just sort of make it really quick and be, gentle? Go.
No, sure. You know what? I have the utmost respect for what he is trying to do, very much. But at the same time, he shuts everybody down that questions, and he always says that people that, if you support, say, the Clinton Foundation, or you work for them, or any of these other entities that he say are connected to this whole thing, yet at the same time, his wife works for Ventana Medical Systems.
Okay, hold on. Listen, hang on. Okay, I heard that. And all right. Okay, just stop right there, because just let me just take over here for a second. Okay. Now, sure. Louis, do me a favor. I don't know anything about this, but real quick, I didn't even know you're married. You're married? Is that true?
Yeah, we're married for 10 years.
Okay, cool. All right, still married?
Yep.
Still married. Okay. All right. So she does work. She's in pharmaceuticals?
Yes, she is.
All right. Okay. Whatever. She's been working in pharmaceuticals since forever, or what? I assume she worked there since before she met you?
Since before my child was born. Yep.
Oh, okay. Cool. Okay. Well, before he tells me, what does she do there? Just, do you know?
There's been a lot of attacks going at her company and false rumors going around out there. So
well, I know, but is she answering phones, or what does she do?
When it comes to my wife's job, I would just tell you that my wife is very professional. From what I understand, she works on cancer studies, and my wife gives up 30% of her income.
Okay.
We don't take any money in.
Okay, that's cool.
We privately finance our ministry.
Right.
She gives up 30% of her income so we can go out and help people. My wife,
Okay,
so
any
attacks on my wife, I'm not going to.
Thanks for that. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, I'm sorry. What was your name again, caller?
Keith Mason.
Keith Mason. All right. Hey, Keith, do you follow any of our stuff by any chance? Just checking. Are you part of the QAnon group or anything like that?
I have not. I've just been following this this thing with the child sex thing that Lewis started back in
Okay.
May. Originally,
Right.
I was behind him 100%.
Okay, well, listen, Keith. Okay, first of all, I just want you to relax. All right. Now, as you may or may not know, I was like totally the biggest guy out there slamming this dude publicly. Okay, talking all kinds of smack. All right, and right now, because of what's going on, I'm not saying that. I mean, there's no hatchet at the moment, no matter what. Okay, and I'm not saying it does or does not exist. Okay, but right now we're really trying to focus on something else. Now, as far as his wife is concerned, I hear what you're saying, and I'm, me personally, I'll go on record. I'm very much anti-pharmaceutical, but that's whatever. I'm not going to judge him for that. Okay, so I'd rather not use that as an issue here.
Fair enough.
So let's just say, whatever beef you had, you got angry, you're still angry. Before we ended it,
it's not that I'm angry.
Well, okay. Well, let me just say because I'm not going to spend much more time, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you another 2 minutes to just kind of wrap it up and say the gist of what you really, what your issue is. And then we're going to move on. Is that cool?
Fair enough.
All right, go for it.
I just think that for somebody who is supposed to be fully transparent, he doesn't answer questions and gives very much a large amount of misdirection. I have offered to come down and take his VOP challenge publicly on his page as well as some of the other pages, and nobody has ever made an effort to contact me. I was willing to give him his fair shot and got no response whatsoever.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Keith. Listen,
right.
On behalf of all the people out there that have issues with Lewis, I'm just going to say, first of all, I want to thank Keith for, being a man enough to actually get through and make the effort to call in and get it off his chest. And Lewis, I'm going to thank you for your patience in allowing him to do that. Okay. And I'm not saying right or wrong or whatever. I'm not going to defend anybody, but we're going to leave it at that. All right. Because what was important is that he got to say his thing. We're leaving it we're going to leave it in the recording. It's all good. And we're going to move on because there's other people out.
Let's clarify one fact first.
All right. Go ahead.
Anyone, and they've all been told if they take the VOP challenge just to go down. All they had to do in the very beginning, there was 2 ways to contact. So anyone could have done that. No one's stopping anyone. When I have hundreds of messages coming in every day and I don't get to look at my Facebook phone all day like everyone else, we have to go out and work and we have to search and we have to connect all these properties to the Clinton global trafficking route that we've uncovered. We have to do a job. Okay, so when people don't get their way or they don't like the way we run stuff, we don't have time to stop and address their grievances. We just ban, delete, remove. That's just how we are. We've got a mission to do, and we're focused on our mission. And our mission is to stop child trafficking across the southern border, not let them move these little kids no more, to hurt them where it hurts most, not to let them get their food chain, cut them off from it. That's what our mission is.
Lewis isn't picking and choosing people to be rude to. His own team sometimes has to hunt him down and say, hey, I need your attention on this. It's not personal. It's across the board. When you get 4,000 messages a day, you can't reply to all of them.
Okay. All right. That's a reasonable excuse. Okay. Listen, Keith, I really don't want to go any further. Out of fairness, I should leave you, do you want to,
No, you guys do your thing. I'm going to continue listening to your show. Lewis, God bless. I hope you find what you're looking for. And I will be down in Phoenix or Tucson. And, if you're still up for it and you want to meet, we'll do that VOP challenge. I'll give you that.
All right, everybody. Peace out, bro. It's love. Okay. All right.
Yeah, come on, Keith. Keith.
Adios, dude. Adios, dude. Okay. All right. That wasn't so bad, huh? All right. Listen. Wow. Let me just wrap it up for a couple of minutes here because we're going to go take a break, and I don't want to get this stuff too distracted on the BS. Although I do appreciate Keith keeping it under control. That was cool. And again, like I said, if we don't, if he's the only one that calls up and bitches, then that's great. That's all good. Now, if there's anybody who wants to call and say something good, because I know there's a hell of a lot of you out there that are supporters. Since I put put up the ad and said that Lewis was going to be on the show, there's a bunch of people that said, "Oh, this is incredible. I'll set my alarm. I'll be there." And then there's a couple of people said, "Oh, well, I sent a gift card and yada yada, and I was, not happy, blah blah blah." All right, you guys, that sucks, but main thing we're trying to focus on tonight is Craig Sawyer, the Rothschilds, Carlos Slim, C-Mex, Asarco, Phoenix, the mayor, the police chief. And you know what, guys? Listen, all things said and behind us, you got to get me copies of those damn drawings and everything you got, because this is my thing, okay? Seriously, whatever you got, I think you got some valuable information there, and I need to incorporate it into my data file. If you think
posted. It's all, minus a few of the other books. Well,
whatever's pertinent, man. I mean, figure something out.
Pointed us to where we needed to search. That's available.
All right, like these blueprints, the blueprint stuff, the tunnel crap, any kind of like blueprints. What I'm really interested is hardcore, heavy construction type blueprints involving cement, and especially underground. Okay.
No, these designs were more for using the septic tanks like they had at the camp to put the septic tanks underground. That's what these designs were for. And they were making designs to where the entire camp, they were building another one, probably about, 30-40 yards.
Was it an actual blueprint, or was it like a hand drawing, or what?
It was hand drawing prints inside of notebooks, and
wow.
It's just was mixed in with the cartel shit that was out there. There's no doubt that cartels were using it properly.
Well, you guys, we got a call coming in. Okay, 480. Hang on, I'll get you in here in a second. Okay, listen, you guys know that Carlos Slim runs all the cartels, right?
There's more to than just that. So I mean, we know who we're dealing with.
Yeah. Well, that's some lots of money. Okay, listen. Again, like I said, we're going to take a break, but and whenever I try to connect a caller, I always kind of space out in my head because I'm sitting here trying to punch in numbers and talk at the same time. But I'm going to try to bring in this caller before we take the break, because otherwise they're going to be making a bunch of noise, and that's not going to be good. All right. See, I didn't even do it right. All right. Is there anything else you want to say real quick in the next 2 minutes while I'm trying to connect this caller? Now's a good time to go for it.
You mentioned in your show that I listened to the other night that you believed the construction of the cell was concrete and metal, and that's not the case. The cell that we found was maybe 150 to 300 gallon plastic water tank, round one, turned up on its side and buried so that the opening, which was at the center of the top, was about 6 feet underground. This is not a concrete structure. This is a hand-dug item that was placed into the ground, covered with tree limbs, if I'm not mistaken, a mattress, and a whole bunch of leaves. We actually got down into it and screamed at the top of our lungs, and we couldn't hear it standing 10 feet away from the pit. But it was not concrete like you were thinking in your show the other day.
Well, yeah, you know what I was thinking, guys? I was thinking that it was like a sorter, because usually at these places they've got these big steel tubular things. They look kind of like silos on their side, or or upside down or on their side, and they pour the gravel in there and sort it, and that's how they put it onto the conveyor belts. That's what I was thinking, because we had a big sand pit gravel place over when I was growing up, and we used to camp inside of those things. So I thought for sure that must have been what it was.
That's not what this was at all.
It was a plastic septic tank turned on its side.
Oh yeah, I get it. I totally got it, because I know exactly what you're talking about. They're polyvinyl. They're made out of they're rotational molded big old plastic jobs. Yeah, I buy tanks like that. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Oh yeah.
Small enough for a child. There was a bar that was secured across the top where they could be tied to. It was for a child. The camp was designed for a child, and it was working so good that they were building a second underground bunker, and they had the tools and everything out there. And when there's a lot of people that they just don't agree with the way I dealt with it, but I look at it and I tell them, what would you have me do? Everyone was pulling back, and they were getting ready to cover it up. And, and they're, and from the city, the mayor's own liaison's going to sit there and tell me, Lewis, just come on back to doing the homeless vet thing, man. They'll probably give you that property over by the Holodome, hitting that if I just drop this and leave the property, that I can just
Oh, yeah.
what am I
No
gonna
shit.
do? I'm
Jeez.
watching a cover up take place. I'm watching the police I've trusted for 3 years, who we've helped so many fucking times to keep their lives safe, you know, and to make sure they don't go in the house and shoot an innocent person. So we would go into some of these compounds and film, and then we would send them screenshots of the people and say, look, these people have nothing to do with this guy you're looking for. Just so they don't go into a situation where someone gets killed. You know, we did everything we could to save lives. And we've always been trusted and respected. I'm watching everyone around me crumble and fold, and they're like, shit, it's the cartels. Oh, shit, what are we going to do? Oh, and everybody's like, what about our families? They're going to, and all I can think about is they were trafficking children in our city, and there's a rape tree in our city, and dozens of kids had to have come through here just from the evidence of what we've seen. Dozens upon dozens. That doesn't make any for people to be scared and saying we can't do something about this. I'm not willing to accept that. That's pure evil, man. I used to be an evil guy. You can't accept that.
You used to be the evil guy. Okay, hey, hang on. First of all, we brought somebody in here. I want to make sure that they got in here and they're actually here. Okay, area code 480. Hello, say hello.
Yep, I'm here.
Who's this?
It's Brian.
Brian, are you back with us? Brian, wait a minute. Brian from Arizona, right? Queen Creek?
Yep.
Brian? Hey, how you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm good.
Brian, Lewis, Brian. Okay, you guys are not too far away.
To him.
Okay, you guys know. Okay, sweet.
Brian,
well, he might not remember me, but I tried to help him when the whole thing first came down because I couldn't go down there. But
all right, so you guys are cool or what?
I'm totally aware of everything he's doing. And I actually. What's that?
No, all right, hang on. We got to go to break, guys. I just want to make sure that you guys are cool before we go to break. Okay, everything. Brian, you're cool with this dude, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. You're not like Keith going to come here and say, okay, cool. All right, awesome. All right, everybody here, listen. All right, guys, heads up. Okay, it's break time. All right? So everybody mute for 5 minutes. Go.
Greetings, dear guests and friends. Welcome, Thursdays night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Western Time. Join live on air by tuning in at www.truthcutradio.com. We kindly appreciate your prayers and your service to others' philosophy. Bless the everlasting presence of God, Almighty Lord, His sovereign Son, Jesus the Nazarene, scalar prayers from the Garden of Gethsemane, white light of the Holy Spirit, angels and archangels. Please join the shows via Skype under Stephen D. Kelley. Anaheim, California is the one for the radio show. Feel free to send a request to join the show and Steve will connect you right away. To contact TruthCut Radio directly, send an email to Stephen. He will love to know from you. The address is law17gun@aol.com. LAW17GUN@AOL.com. Twitter address is @1StephenDKelley. Thank you for your support in social media, Google search, YouTube, Facebook, QAnon groups, where you are welcome to like, share a nice comment, and help disseminate info and shows. If they please you, subscribe, click thumbs up, and share. Stephen D. Kelley's original book, Lasers, Cavers, and Magic 2011, is not in print anymore. So Stephen sends it out on email on PDF format. Please read it. If you want to buy the new revision, Cities Under the Plane, that is available on Amazon or download Kindle edition for $7. The true story of one man's journey through science and magic, from guns and lasers to metaphysics and spirituality. People, be advised that TruthCut Radio broadcast is entirely listener-supported. Your contributions are highly appreciated. If you are able to contribute to his operating budget, please use PayPal account. Stephen Kelley 714@gmail.com. In order to receive your entire financial support, on subject, please indicate friends or family. And we are very grateful to you for supporting his efforts. Thank you in advance for your attention to this matter. Please do not use the PayPal account email for any correspondence. Also, become a patron and it will deduct a desired amount once a month. So if you like to set an amount to contribute, you could create a Patreon, patreon.com, and look for Truthcat Radio and Stephen Kelley. Very kind of you all for joining us. Thank you very much. Dr. Keaton SDK and friends. If you have a problem tuning in live, like so many people do, including via phone call, be sure to get an updated Flash player. And if you are using Chrome, please read the instructions on the main page of Truthcat Radio that explains how to get around with all these very issues. Attention culture française, Monsieur Keaton cherche un animateur de radio host pour la version française de Truthcat Radio. Stephen, are you around? Oh, he's just gone. Si vous êtes passionné pour l'information de la vérité afin d'aider la population à se préparer et que vous êtes capable de produire un travail de qualité sur une durée d'1 ou 2 heures chaque semaine, vous êtes la personne qu'il nous faut. S'il vous plaît, envoyez vos productions audio à l'adresse suivante, Truthcat Radio. Moi, je peux vous aider à la lecture de livres entiers. Merci beaucoup. For joining us, here we go back to Stephen Kelley. Oh, Stephen.
I would have never expected to come back after the Française there. That kind of blew me away. Okay, we have a caller coming in, 850. I'm not sure who that is, but I'm going to bring you in here real quick. I want to thank everybody for hanging in there. This is the second half of the show. Those of you that stress out and can't deal with a 2-hour show, oh, well, I'm sorry, but you know, there's going to be good content throughout the whole show, so you're going to have to deal with it. Again, let me see. Brian, since you're here, is there anything that you want to say to the guys here while I try to bring in these new callers?
Yeah. Lewis and all you guys, I commend all of you for doing what you're doing. I heard about it through a YouTube subscription that I had. I can't remember who, Plymouth Fury or something like that. And I'm kind of busy with a farm, and I really wanted to go down there and help you, but I couldn't. So I had called to try to get you guys some cadaver dogs when you were looking for those in the very beginning. But I've followed you ever since, and I actually found Stephen's research from what you guys were doing. So you guys have a lot in common. You need to stay in contact.
No kidding, huh, Brian? No shit. You found you were his fan before you're my fan. I'm hurt, dude.
Well, I mean, the whole pedophilia thing just blew me away. I mean, it makes me go crazy when I hear about stuff like that, and the fact that it's as big as it is and gotten as bad as it has with, you know, only a few people trying to do something about it is just insane. So I commend everybody, all of you guys down there.
Well, hey, Brian, what was the name of that company of yours again? I forgot. What was it called?
Volition Armament.
Volition Armament. There you go. I forgot that name. Pretty cool, huh? Just want to make sure that the listeners remember that. Volition, that's with a V. All right. Thank you, Brian. Hey, listen, we just got this new caller that just joined us, area code 850. Do you want to say hello? 850, say hello. Yeah, you're the only 850, so go ahead.
Okay.
Hi, who's this?
I'm just here to listen.
Oh, okay. Well, just tell us who your name is. Yeah, it's totally okay, but we just like to know your name just for fun. Is that cool? Julie. Thank you, Julie. Okay. All right. Julie's the wallflower. When we say wallflower, you know we're all talking about Julie. Okay. If there's any other wallflowers that need to call in and listen, we'll be happy to try to connect you. But if you want to call in and say hi to Lewis, hopefully you'll say something good. If you want to bitch, you know, just remember, be respectful. You know. But again, the phone number is area code 714-598-3125. And remember, you only have to call me once, and I'm not going to pick it up, but I will call you right back. All right? And if it's a cell phone, make sure that it will take a blocked number, because I'm going to call you from a blocked number. Okay? All right. And also, if there's anybody out there on Skype, that wants to join us, it's Stephen D Kelley. That's STEVEN KELLEY. Or no, see, I'm sorry, STEVEN D KELLEY. And I'll tell you, it's not that hard to do. Lewis did it today. He got it right the first time. I mean, it's not that hard to do, right? So, and then you just got to say, it helps if you say you want to join the show so I can connect you right away. But like I said, now if you want to call in, Diane, let me just, first of all, I'll tell you what. Hang on, guys. Oh, wow, we got a bunch of listeners. Yeah, well, I figured we'd have a bunch of listeners, of course. See, dude, you got some power, man. You got some followers out there. Oh, wow. Okay. United Kingdom, greetings. Canada, we have a lot of Canadians here tonight. Let's see, Ottawa. There was another province here from Canada. I don't see him right now that I'm not familiar with. New Zealand, we have New Zealand with us tonight. Auckland. Australia, there's several people from Australia. No Russia, Germany tonight. Oh, wait, there's Russia. Greetings, Russia. Russia's been here for the full show. Russia tuned in just for your show, dude. Okay, there you go. Let's see what else. We got a lot of people here from Tucson. Greetings. Shout out to Tucson. Memphis, Bronx, Eugene, Oregon, Buffalo, New York. Palmyra, hi, Diane. El Segundo, hi, Laura. Owala, Washington. Olala. St. Petersburg, Florida. Wisconsin. Grants Pass, Oregon. Yo, RD. Vista, California. Greetings, guys. Okay, anyway, that's San Clemente. There's people I don't see. I don't see Oceanside. Anyway. All right, guys. I always got to waste time and have fun with my listeners like that just because I appreciate the ones that take the time to tune in live. I want them to know that I can see them. So, again, I want to, before we get back into this stuff, and Lewis, I know you guys have all, I'm sure it's got to be kind of like, I call, more people are joining us. Funny. I call this the trippy factor when you start getting hit with this stuff and you're like going, wow. And then something else comes along and you're like, wow, that was even more wow than the last one. And this stuff just keeps on going. So when you heard about Craig going off to the Philippines and getting hooked up with a big check, and now you just heard about the Philippine connection with the gang snatching the children off the streets, and you're like right in the middle of it. And here's this little piece of this artery of this big evil system, and you drew attention to it. And in the process of doing it, you outed these billionaires and these big fake poser fraud con men like Craig Sawyer. And you've shown, you realize that we have practically killed Craig Sawyer, that he killed himself, of course, but let me tell you what started it with Craig Sawyer is, and I'm just going to take advantage of this opportunity real quick in case you guys probably heard about this by now, but my big thing is the Getty, okay, the big underground base underneath the Getty Museum out here in Los Angeles. And I've been trying to tell people that if we take that down and we expose that and we get somebody, Trump, whoever, with the Marines to go down that elevator and look and see what's really down there, that it's all over. That's all over. That's the linchpin. That's the keystone, as Q likes to say. It really is. And I never knew nothing about Craig Sawyer, but I got a lot of veterans out there that follow what I do, and they all contacted this guy, and they said, "Hey, man, y'all check out this Getty thing and take your child rescuer troops down there and see what you can do." And he got so tired of hearing that all the time that he finally got pissed off and started getting rude to these people. And as soon as they started coming back to me and saying that this guy, Craig Sawyer, was being rude to them and calling them crazy and shit, that's when I said, nah, that's not cool. And I confronted him, and that's where it went. And then, of course, you read the anonymous thing. They said right there, why would he make all this effort to try to discredit this big thing and then turn around and discredit your thing when they're both connected? I'll tell you, I'm going to share this with you guys. There was a movie, you may have ever seen it. It was Batman. It was the one that had Bane, the character Bane, the bad guy. And in that movie, they were doing all this underground stuff where they were digging tunnels and stuff underneath Gotham, and they were going to blow them up and just take over Gotham. Well, the secret of that movie that we should have all paid attention to is that you can't do any of this underground illegal bullshit if you don't have corrupt cement companies. And here we got the biggest cement company in the world, and it's corrupt as all fuck. And we should all be able to see that really easy. But because he's got so much damn money, nobody wants to pay attention. I mean, my God, the same guy that we're talking about here owns the New York Times. You guys knew that, right?
Yeah. And this the same guy that got all the billions of dollars from the Obama phones?
Well, he owns, okay, this dude, Slim, that we're talking about, he made all his money in Mexico. He owns all the phones in Mexico, and I'm sure he's hooked up with, he's a big telecom. That's where he made his money, was in telecom. But, you know, obviously, well, okay, like this Asarco dude that you're talking about, that the guy that owns Asarco has like $10.5 billion, $10.5 billion. And the only guy in Mexico that's got more money than him is Carlos Slim. But we know the reality is that the one that's really got the money is Carlos Salinas Gortari, because that's the old president. He's, you know, obviously he's not supposed to have any money, but he's the guy that really owns all that money. But so like you said, though, what I've been trying to show these people out there is that our enemies, the people that are responsible for this human trafficking and the blood sucking and the satanic crap and all the underground crap and the cartels and the drugs and the heroin and all the horrible shit that goes on in the world are the same damn people. They're all connected. People like the Clintons, and they're all rich. They're all billionaires. You know, you think about the Clintons in their network, you know, they're like pawns to people like Carlos Slim. I mean, even this guy, Frank Gustra, he's sort of like Carlos Slim, except he's Canadian. He owns all these gold mines and shit. But him and Carlos Slim and Bill Clinton, they're like good buddies. They fly around. And I mean, you guys, you know, Uranium One, that big scandal, Hillary Clinton thing, these are the same guys. This is their thing. They're all involved in that shit. So,
all I can tell you is from the research that I did, because, I mean, like I said, we deal with homeless veterans. We deal with local drug dealers, breaking up fights in a park. You know, I mean, that's the extent of what we do. And tunnel searches, I mean, this is a total different world. But looking at the Podesta emails, I always tell everybody, you got to go there. That was my starting point. And anyone with a brain can see code talk for what it is. And you know, if you look at the case with Maddie, and there's just, man, you're overloaded with all this information. And it's like, okay, so what do we know? We know that, okay, this is part of a Clinton trafficking corridor, that they're piggybacking human beings. We found that undocumented children were being funneled through a pedophile neighborhood where 27 registered sex offenders and a child sex offender lived in Marana, you know, and we found that by walking these trails, and these children with no parents, unaccompanied minors, were going through the lion's den down here in Arizona. Everything we did shone a light, and the only thing I knew to do was just to scream it. And other people, you know, they don't like my tactics, but what am I supposed to do? If we don't stop all the movement, there's no way we're going to find all the children, because they're just going to keep able to move them from point to point to point. We have to make it to where they can't move them no more. We have to stop the movement. What am I supposed to do? The best way to do it is let the people know that we know you're guilty. We've gone and filmed this. We've done this. You need to stop. And to keep the light shined on them so they can't move kids. They can't move their dope. They can't move their migrant farmers. We can't have any illegal movement. They were moving children through our city, and this was a two-way route. Who the hell dyes children coming from Mexico? Who dyes their hair dark colored? I mean, to me, when I look at that and I listen to what Craig Sawyer and everyone else said, it's like, well, you know, it's like, you know, they laid it out perfectly. And anyone looking at it was like, it's like watching a CSI crime scene. You're looking at these experts saying this was for this was for this, and everything's making sense. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. There's no doubt in your guys' mind that this is taking place. And Craig was pissed because law enforcement wouldn't come until we found out who the property was attached to. And as soon as Clinton's name and Rothschild's name got tied into it and he flipped, that's when we knew we were in deep shit. And we had no choice but to scream and fight and attach everything to the truth we could before they could bury it, to make sure everyone was awake. I didn't care what it was. I don't care if you think aliens were coming down. There were spaceships at CMEX. I didn't give a shit. The truth was there was a child trafficking camp there, and they covered it up. And Craig Sawyer helped them cover it up. So I don't care. I don't need to know nothing else other than that to know that I can't trust him, and he doesn't give shit about our kids in our city.
All right, I got a question here. You know, in that damn picture with you and Craig, I mean, come on, the guy showed up with a damn gun. What the fuck? You know, seriously, what did he? And he didn't just have a gun. He had all these magazines.
He had his full kit, but it was a cartel property. That when I explained what I saw to Naylor on the phone, and I said, this is it. And there were black jugs around there in the scatter bushes. The homeless in the area said they don't go to this side. This is, you know, the cement side. That's the cartel side. So when the report comes in and a guy hears he's going to a site where children were being trafficked through and it's cartel land, basically, I mean, he came down full kit. I had my teams out there. Well, 2 of our guys went back and they got their full kits and came out. Because they knew, all right, well, this is like cartel related. So we don't know what we stumbled into. For all you know, they're going to be coming up to do a big dope spot and just drop a bunch of dope. And you just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. They got guns and they did come back. That's another thing. You know, they did come back, you know, and so it's like, I had no problem with that, you know, and my family's ministry, we're pro Second Amendment. But we don't believe in mobilizing armies and guns to solve problems. We just have a different approach. That's it. You know, we don't believe in a revolution by firearm. We don't think you win a war that way. You know, it's got to be fought different. Yeah, and we're not a militia, so I mean.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Obviously, this whole business of saying this extracurricular law enforcement stuff is kind of bullshit. When Craig Sawyer says, "Yeah, I do stuff that law enforcement can't do," I'm thinking, "Wait a minute. You know, what does that mean? Like something that's illegal? What the hell?" All right. Listen, we just got somebody that joined us. It took a little while, but 850. Who's this?
Just reconnecting. I got cut off.
Oh, it's the Wallflower. Sorry. All right. Let me see. I think somebody else was trying to call too, but was okay. Hang on, Wallflower. Was that you that I just talked to and I said I was going to call back and all that just now?
No.
Okay, then that means there's someone else out there. I got to try to connect. All right, you guys.
But the police can't, and he is actually getting paid. What would that make him by definition?
Wait a minute. Say that again, please.
If he's doing what the police cannot do, and he is getting paid, what does that make him by definition?
Professional criminal is what it sounds like. Is what you? I mean, yeah. We already know he's a professional criminal. Okay, check it out. All right, you heard about the woman detective in Washington D.C., former retired law enforcement. Yeah, who turned up dead. Who supposedly was, now we're finding out, was actually investigating Craig Sawyer. You guys heard about that, huh?
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Well, at least it became a paid mercenary.
Well, yeah, that's true. And that would seem kind of obvious.
He's a liar. I don't know if he's a double agent, a CIA. I really don't care. All I know is that he told us he had all of our teams. He came in and gave us so much hope. That guy was saying, I've got friends in the FBI. This is bullshit. They should have this scene secured.
We felt like he had our back.
We felt like he had our back. And you're looking at, I mean, he kept talking about how big his platform was. And we're like, well, good. We need people to know what's going on. The police aren't doing their job. Something's wrong. When I escorted 3 officers down into the camp the first night I found it, they were freaking terrified. And a female officer had to tell her supervisor when I took him into the camp, she saw all the children's stuff. She gasped. And then she's like, you guys aren't recording? And she pulled out her phone and started recording. None of that stuff's in the original police report. They knew that who the hell has $700 iPhone cases, GPS trackers? You've got camo clothing, coyote trash all around the property. So you know the cartels are using it. That's no doubt. And then it's all children's stuff. And Craig had our back, and then all of a sudden it was just gone. And it's like, dude, I mean, to me, that was the biggest chicken shit move you could have ever made. But what he did was he pissed us off. And then if he wouldn't have did that, we wouldn't have been able to stage and cover our ass. We were able to get a lot of evidence secured. We got evidence that's not damaged that they can get forensics for children off of. We got a bunch of stuff, but you don't see the FBI doing anything but investigating us. They won't investigate that camp. And, you know, until they're willing to investigate that camp, I ain't got nothing to say to them at all. But I'm more willing to give them the stuff if they'll publicly forensic test it and let the American people see everything during the whole process. Let us see it.
They won't investigate it.
Hey, hang on, guys. I got a question. Because I've done this before. I actually filed a report with the FBI and their human trafficking division. Did you try to do that?
Yeah, we called. You know what they told us with the city service provider on the phone? Well, if there's no humans there right now, there's no evidence of human trafficking. You have to call your local authorities. And it's like the Tucson Police Department aren't doing anything. We called Department of Homeland Security and the FBI's human trafficking line. And the lady at the FBI was like really nice. And, you know, but she says there's not really a whole lot they can do unless a report comes in for them to come out and local officials are declaring it's a homeless camp. And we're like, that's not the case. All the experts, Craig was, you know, when they went and said that, Craig Sawyer made a post. And right after he made that post, within hours, he changed his story. What happened? His last post, it says when, as a former federal investigator, when I see the site bulldoze and no investigation, I know there's a cover up, you know, and that post went viral on his page. And we were so pumped up. We're like, good. You can't cover this shit up now. Now you're caught red-handed. And then all of a sudden, with no warning, he flips. And then he's like, no, Lewis Arthur, the guy's Screwy Louie, the guy's a con man. He's scamming people out of money and gift cards. And he goes and repeats every false narrative. Then he makes a false criminal pass and posts it on his Facebook because he didn't want to explain to his viewers how he could be so sure, do all this news media, all these shows saying that is a child trafficking camp on that property. And then all of a sudden he flips and it's the exact opposite. And he was conned. How in the hell can you let a Screwy Louie guy con you and you're a Navy SEAL expert? And he wants people to buy that lie. And the truth is that he left us hanging. He changed his story. He knows what that camp was.
What happened was he flew to the Philippines and talked to the CFO of CEMEX and changed. And all of a sudden, when he comes back to the United States, he changes his mind and flips the whole story, flips the script, you know?
No, he actually met with him after that.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right. But somebody from CMAX basically said, "You don't fix this, you're fucked." Probably.
And I think they threatened to pull Strawman Sawyer's Netflix presentation that he had coming up.
You know, this is a fact, and I want everybody listening to understand this. They're going out and they're saying that this was a hoax, and I sensationalized everything. The Lord is my rock, and I can tell you right now that every word I'm telling you is true. Every word I've spoken to you guys is true. I never imagined the shit that I heard those experts say. There was a former Tucson firefighter. There was a Navy SEAL in Craig Sawyer. He brought out a Tier 1 operative that explained Al-Qaeda camps and how certain devices that were in this camp were used to torture children. These people went in there and they laid out the freaking crime scene, not VOP. The only thing I told them was that's not a homeless camp. And as the foregoing expert in the Tucson who's found over 1,000 homeless camps in 3 years, I have every right to stand on that and say that's not a homeless camp. And the homeless over there, I've got 3 whistleblowers. They know that was being
used. Okay, hang on, Lewis, hang on a second. Okay, this dude that came out and the people that identified this stuff, once again, could you just tell us again who these people are, who the names? Give me those names of those guys, those experts.
You had Tim Foley with Arizona Border Recon. He came out the very next day. He's the one that called Craig and put Craig in contact with.
Tim Foley, huh?
Yeah, and he went out and did his own thing. And the guy's an expert, so I take him at his word. He went and he told me because we told
Lewis,
him. Yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. I do that a lot. Listen, if I don't say it, I'll forget it. The woman that I've been dealing with that hooked us up, I need to give her a shout out. What was her name? Debbie? Becky? What is it? Becky. Yo, Becky. You're probably out there listening right now. Yo, Becky. How's it going? All right, thanks. Okay, cool. Go on.
Yeah,
sorry.
She's local for Alpha. She's awesome. She's one of our local guides. Put us right on the trails.
Well, she's also put you on me too, so, you know, props to her.
Yeah, she bugged me about talking to you.
See?
No, you get the names you want, and then there was a group, the Arizona Defense Force, and then you had Vets for Child Rescue. But Foley he did cartel land, and he's an expert, and he knows his border better than anyone. And I tell everybody, he knows his border better than anyone down here. And he went through and he showed me where the trails were. He saw where they were coming up, the trafficking. And then where a spotter had laid down on a fence and was watching our camp all night, and he found the fresh campsite where the spotter was. So, when he confirmed cartel activity, and so did a former Navy SEAL and Craig Sawyer and his Tier 1 operatives and a firefighter and all these people out there. And I'm not saying anything. I'm just watching these interviews take place on the news, and I'm just over here like, well, it's not a homeless camp, so draw your own conclusion. Okay, we know it's not a homeless camp. They went with what it wasn't, and it doesn't make any sense that they all changed their story. Who are you protecting if you're not protecting Mayor Rothschild's? Because we tied that property. We don't say a Sarco Silver Bell mine. We have had 3 meetings with Border Patrol agents out here, three different encounters discussing that mine. They even say a Sarco Silver Bell mine, major human trafficking route being ran all around that property.
Dude, okay, listen.
And we filmed live video of it.
That's the biggest thing to come out of the show tonight, seriously, is you brought a Sarco into the picture. That was not in here. Yeah.
Because we're not lying. All these routes tie together. All these properties tie together. And then the big names, the big billionaires, the elitists that make all this policy across the world, they're the ones that's running this trafficking ring. So they're the ones trafficking children. So we want to stop that. We don't want them to move kids anymore. That's our job. Stop it. No more.
All right, listen, let me take a quick check here because I know we got Wallflower here. We lost people. People have been trying to get in, and you guys got to remember, it's a real pain in the ass for me to try to connect people. It's not like it used to be in the old days since what is the assholes at Microsoft got a hold of Skype. It's really bad. So I want to take a quick check and see who's with us right now other than Lewis. 850, who's that? Is that Wallflower?
Correct.
Okay. So are you the only one with us now? Is everyone else gone? Brian, I guess, is gone? Looks like it. All right. If anybody else wants to try again fresh, now's a good time. I'll try to bring you in. We only have about a half hour left to go on the show. So again, you guys, I hope you guys listeners are getting the message here. This is about billionaires. Like I said, a Sarco, owner of a Sarco, second richest man in Mexico, owner of Cemex, number 1 richest man in Mexico, used to be richest man in the world. These are not small players. People like Craig Sawyer jump and cower in fear when these people say something. And they also control the cartels, the Zetas, all of those people, every single one of them, Felix or whatever gang, you take your pick. Even gangs that are fighting each other, they control all of them. Okay, and they're all very hooked up to the CIA. Obviously, it's these billionaires that control this stuff, and they're all very much, in fact, don't forget, we talk about Mayor Rothschild. Well, Carlos Slim is very good buddy with the Rothschild family. He likes to hang out at their pad. All right, let's see. We got 480 coming in. Okay, 480, 1324. That looks like Brian. I'm going to try to bring him in here, and hopefully it's not going to screw up. All right, guys. Any else of you, here's your chance to say something while I try to bring in this caller.
No, I'm just hanging out. I think we pretty much covered everything.
Oh, man, come on. Look at that. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. Let's be honest with anyone who's listening. Okay. I mean, what have we uncovered that we weren't already being told? I wasn't aware of it because we didn't have anything we didn't know. I mean, where our head wasn't in the sand, we were taking care of homeless veterans. We were in a different fight. But now that we're aware of it and I'm looking at it and I look around and so many people, they know that they're trafficking children. Who in their right mind is okay with that? First off, I don't think anyone could. Yeah. And who in their right mind would come against an organization that's going out there to put a stop to it? Unless they're making money off of it.
Exactly.
Or, you know, and the thing is we're hurting a lot of people's money by doing what we're doing and intercepting the drugs and breaking up the trafficking, and they can't move the people. They get boxed in, they get backed up, and they run the risk of getting caught when we box them up on these ranches and farms and, you know, and just chase the hell out of them through the desert. Well, what we're doing is something, you know, and it has to be done a certain way. We have to be safe. It's not like we got 500 people down here. You know, we have to be very careful. It's not, we know who our enemy is. Our enemy at the end of the day are the global elitists who've allowed the human trafficking to take place. We're not going to get any help from our government because everything we're seeing is government institutions and politicians are a part of the problem. They're in bed with open borders. They provided property. They allow humane borders to go on city property and county property. The illegals are allowed to access the property on the backside, but the American public, they're fenced in on the front side with posted no trespassing signs. Now, you tell me that's not a design route to move. And then the Humane Borders and La Frontera, they get permits to put humanitarian aid on city and county property so they can facilitate illegal human trafficking and let dope come into our city and poison our homeless and let children be trafficked. And I'm looking at it. Politicians all across the board are in bed. County board supervisors are in bed with them. City council members are in bed with them. So all the people in government that run everything around me is in bed with this. So, you know, I mean, so we're not going to get any help. That's why I rely on God and I do things completely different, because it's like, if you play by their rules, nothing will change. You got to go against the system in a different way. And you can't go with it with violence. That's just the last thing you need to go out with is violence in your heart. We really want to pull these kids out of these deserts and keep them from being trafficked. I mean, that's a good thing. They don't have to suffer no more. And
Border Patrol has been outstanding to us. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Border Patrol has been just phenomenal. Everywhere we've gone down on this border, they've been kind and allowed us to place flags on hilltops right next to the border. They're just really a good bunch of people, and they've got a hard job, a hard task, and they come out here every day in this desert and
they know they're understaffed.
Yeah.
They admitted that they're maybe at most 30% effective. 30%.
So out of every 100, 70 of them get through. That's just crazy. So we're trying to plug the gaps and push them into the sensors, push them into the cameras, push them into areas where they're not comfortable moving. So if we lay in a wash where we know there's obvious signs of them moving through there, heavy traffic, they're not going to come through that wash. They're going to take another route that might just run them into sensors or just might run them into BP cameras.
Put yourself in their shoes. If you were in a group of 10 people trying to make a better life for your family, and you looked around, and of the 10 people that you're in, you knew that 7 of you were going to make it. All you had to do is make sure that you're not the slowest person. Make sure there are 3 people slower than you, or turn around and hurt them, and you're good. You're through. It's almost guaranteed.
Look at you. Look at you. How many people have you hurt? Sorry. That's like the old joke, you know, if you and your girlfriend or get a bear, how do you get the you got a 22 revolver or something, you only got one shot. How do you get, you know, how do you survive? You shoot your girlfriend in the leg and you run. Okay, bad joke. Okay, sorry. All right, listen, we got somebody try to join us right now. They were an unknown caller. And first of all, if you got your number blocked, there's no way you can get in here. I can't possibly let you. So whoever that was, forget it. We still got 25 minutes, guys. Everything makes sense here, and we're going to continue. But I do want to, you know, I know a lot of people bitch about it, but we got to do it anyway. Again, you got, let's just go over it really quick. You got Facebook page. What do you got?
Oh, well, the alpha page was shut down by Facebook again today, and we're just going to make a new page. You know, our followers know how to get a hold of us. We just tell anybody to go to www.backthebrawl.com. It's just backthebrawl.com. And they can get the information they need on how to support us and how to get out here. We just need boots on the ground. Money's not accepted.
All right, cool. Is there anything else that you got going on other than that you want to tell people about?
We want people to keep an eye on the hurricane and pray for the families over there on the East Coast. You know, and anyone that's gone through destruction and everything. So those are hard things. If people are available to get out there, they can't come down to the border. We encourage them to get out.
into the coastal communities and go help anyone that's faced devastation. Do something good, go out and do something good for someone. That's how we start changing shit, is when we stop doing bad shit. We just got to go out and do something good.
And if we can't pray, be a prayer warrior, Prayer is powerful, and we can always use that. So.
Don't ever stop praying for us, please. This is a different fight.
Hey, listen, guys, here real quick. I kind of forgot. I know we got Julia. Who else do we have with us? Brian, are you here? Who's with us? I forgot.
Yeah, I'm here, and I actually have a question for Lewis and the guys.
Go for it.
You guys have that Hohokam Indian Reservation down there, correct?
Yes, sir. The TO.
So, yeah, the TO Hokum. I don't know. I guess that's trying to pronounce it. How do you guys deal with that? Yeah, Toko Odom. How do you guys deal with that? Because that right there is an open border situation. The way I understand it, they just let them through there. Are they cooperating with you guys at all, or are they being part of the problem?
This is the wall we're designing, and we're just filling in valleys and canyons with people and setting up camping posts and making mobile camps able to move through and just rove and lock areas down. But we have to go completely around the TO. That's why the Arizona border is twice as long, because if you flatten the TO as massive as it is, it's our border twice. The TO is a sovereign nation. There is no authority. We don't have constitutional rights over there. It's not like I can take a team in there, and our vets won't go down on the border unless they're armed, and I'm not going to go down there unless they're armed myself. You know what I mean? So we can't operate there. They will not cooperate. The tribal council, Manuel, is corrupt, and this is from all the local whistleblowers, and there are a lot of people in that reservation that they're just good people, and we pray for them, and don't think the whole reservation's corrupt, but the tribal leaders are corrupt. They're in bed with the cartels, and they make money off of this. They're actually shielding top level cartel officials, and because they're sovereign, it really puts I don't know how the treaties work, but I know that they just can't roll up in there like they can anywhere else. They're considered a sovereign nation. They don't want to. They won't let the National Guard out there. But Border Patrol did flat out tell us, if we see people moving from there, call them, because they'll go in there. They have authority to go in there and still enforce. But they don't get called. The private police don't call. And a lot of the people are dying on the TO. If you look at all the migrant deaths in Pima County, and you go to their site and you look at No More Deaths, go to their site, and you'll see in southern TO reservation, it is astronomically, it's like 100 to 1 all across southern Arizona, but just concentrated on that TO reservation where there's no resources, no infrastructure. Thousands have died crossing up through there. That is a humane rights issue, because they don't want to seal their border, and they let them come through, and we have to build our wall completely around the reservation. We have to have outposts as far north as Picacho Peak. That's how far north we got to go.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point to make, that information there, because I don't think a lot of people realize that TO Indian Reservation down there is a lot of land. Because up here we have Gila River and all through Casa Grande, and they deal with the same problems. The cartel is all the way up here in Gila River.
Yes, sir. That is true. We found that out.
75 to 100 miles into our nation. Yeah. So that's where really the border starts, is the northern border of the TO.
It makes our job hard, because it's not just TO. You have farmers and ranchers and people out here, and they facilitate, they help. Some people are doing it because they're trying to help honest people just coming in the wrong way. Then that's their agenda. Most people are helping for the money. They're getting kickbacks along the way. These UDAs that are coming up are loaded down with coke and heroin, and they're giving favors along the way, and people are piggybacking them for a couple ounces of coke, and it's just flooding our city with more dope, and we don't know who's coming in. And you have gangbangers, you have ISIS, you have serious threats that have crossed our southern border. that no one's like. I mean, we've seen some crazy shit since we started. God's opened up our eyes to a lot of stuff down here, and we're learning every day. We don't do it right all the time, but we get up and do it every day. And when we do it wrong, we get up, we fix it, and we just don't do it that way again.
Lewis,
You know?
you do it wrong all the time. Come on. All right, hang on. Listen, guys, I got one of my idiot friends call me here. Skip, you idiot. He's like, I'm here. Yeah, of course you don't say it on the radio, man. Okay, this is one of my friends that I grew up with. I was going to say, speaking of drugs. No, sorry. Anyway, so he called in and said, we got a few people. I'm just going to let you guys know that we're going to go on overtime, okay, tonight, since we got a lot of listeners tonight. And a lot of people want to talk to you guys. Okay, 520 that's calling me right now. Relax. I'll try to get to you. I think there's somebody who keeps getting dropped off. I can't be bringing people in that keep getting dropped off. You got to figure out what that problem is. Okay, you waste my time. Skip, you got the microphone. Don't be silly. Say hi to Lewis. What's up?
Hello. No, I haven't talked in a while. Heard from just NA.
Dude, you tell me you don't know anything about what we're talking about tonight. You just want to call in. What's up? Do you know this guy, who this guy is?
No, I'm not familiar with that
particular individual. Look at that. Okay, Lewis, I apologize. This guy's just, okay, never mind. This is Skip, okay? Skip, let me just fill you in.
Well, I worked
Jewish, he's Jewish, man. Good eye, man. Good eye. Good ear, I should say. Jewish, yeah, Skip's Jewish. Okay, Skip's well, whatever. Skip, we're not going to go into that tonight, but listen, Skip, just lay low because since you don't know what's going on, you just kind of lay low and listen, all right?
Sure.
All right, okay.
Mike, you remember though when I worked in Mexico and I dealt with alarm in a church.
You heard of me mention Aureliano Felix, didn't you? And you wanted to call in because of that? Is that it?
Well, that's when
yeah. Okay, I figured. Okay, anyway, yeah, this guy worked with my brother who worked on a nightclub that was owned by those guys, and yeah. Okay, well, thank you for that, Skip. All right, listen, there's a couple other people that tried to call in, but if there's anyone that hasn't tried to call in tonight that wants to call in right now, hurry up. Okay, now's the time. All right. Let's see, what else do I want to say? Right. Hey, Skip, whoever, mute your phone or whatever, hang up, but it's not going to work. Hey, I'm telling you, I got to hang up. You keep making that noise. If anyone else wants to call in, area code 714-598-3125, Skype, Stephen, D, Kelley, Kelley. I don't really care. Okay, listen, you guys. Vets, hey, Saudi Arabia, you still there?
Yeah.
Dude, let's talk about Saudi Arabia, man. Come on. 140 degrees. What the fuck? Let's. Okay, come on. Serious. Oh, I got it. Listen. Okay, here's a good one. Diet Coke. Did you guys get served the damn Diet Coke while you're over there?
Yeah, we got pretty much anything that we asked for food-wise.
Oh, okay. But I'm just wondering if there was Diet Coke because, that they said that was the reason for a lot of the the Gulf War syndrome was actually aspartame disease. Did you hear that one?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, well, anyway. Okay, listen, you don't have any stories? I got listeners they're trying to get in here.
I've got one story. It's funny as hell.
Right.
So, in the middle of the summer, at my shop, and keep in mind, I did not have a glorious job. I was supply weapons mobility. So anytime weapons moved, I did it. Uh-huh. So at my shop, one day we start hearing all these sirens and radio chatter. Well, what happened was the reason we heard all that, there was a fuel truck going through the gate. Have you ever seen a sentry control point in a war zone?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, you've got the concrete barricade that you go back and forth through.
Zigzag.
Right. Yeah. The guards that raise the gate up, let the vehicle through. The front vehicle is the physical barrier while they check all those behind it. Well, there was a fuel truck loaded with 30,000 gallons of fuel, and when the guards were lowering the gate for it to go through, the rope attached to the pole that they were pulling down caught the bumper of the truck. Which pulled the gate the shack.
The text now subscriber you were.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
The concrete pylons and one of the guards all dragging behind this fuel truck, and he's got 30,000 gallons of JP4. He can't feel that he's pulling all this shit. So the remaining gate at the guard calls over the radio, not what they actually did, which was fuck up, but he calls that a truck ran the gate.
Holy crap.
So now
which wasn't what happened, huh?
Yeah, it's not what happened. And so now you've got every Humvee with a cop in it for 30 kilometers with a 50 cal coming after this truck. And the guy driving the truck had headphones on. He didn't know what the hell was going on. Well, it all came to a stop right in front of my shop. And so we run outside and we see Humvees from all over the place. And this guy jumped out of the fuel truck like, what the hell is going on? And then he turned around and he saw the trail of destruction that he was dragging. And he's like, oh, fuck. Yeah. So it was a put the shit back together, and who fucked up the radio call? You are no longer here. You don't have a job anymore.
Not me.
Right?
All right, we got a guy that tried to call in right now named James, and I'm going to try to get him back in here. Hopefully, that was the guy that had his answering machine pick up the phone here. Thanks for that, James. 2372. Hope it works. I assume he's a friend of yours. I hope. Not unlike Keith, but you got to admit, Keith was a gentleman, huh? Huh, Lewis? Yeah, I made him be a gentleman, huh, Lewis?
I don't believe in taking shots at the wives and children of the families that are out here.
No, that's not cool. That's why my kids and exes are not on my Facebook. I don't go there. All right, let's see if we get this guy connected here. Okay, here we go. Come on, dude.
Hey.
All right, you're on, man. Go for it. So what do you want to say?
Hey, I have a question for Lewis. I love what you guys are doing.
Dude, you got to say your name first, okay?
Yeah, my name is Steven.
Steven, okay. I thought you were James. Okay. All right, Steven, welcome. Go for it. You sure you're not James, man? Jeez.
Lewis, I understand that you guys caught some illegals recently by finding a freshly used butt wipe. And I would like some details.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. Are we talking a fibrous thing that comes out of a plastic container? It's got like aloe and shit on it. Or are we talking like made for a baby?
Yeah, they leave trails, and sometimes you literally step in a fresh pile of dookie, and it's like, well, we know this is within a few minutes, and so yeah. So
well,
sometimes
from a hygiene standpoint, I gotta say, man, bringing wet wipes with you in a desert. I've been in the desert. I know how nice it is to have wet wipes with you, especially, yeah, I gotta say, thanks, guys. Guys, I'm impressed, No, but
all right. Well, thank you guys very much. I appreciate the details on the butt wipe, and thank you, Lewis. That's all.
Okay. Dude, don't go away. Come on, hang in there. Jeez. Oh, jeez. All right. I was just having fun. Sorry.
The fact is, and anyone can come down and we can take you out into our deserts and we can just show you all the trash, all the waste. And part of our mission is we're going to clean all this up when we stop the movement. But we have all the evidence, and the trails have not been touched yet. I haven't ordered any cleanup, so people can't say this stuff doesn't exist. And then when we go back to check routes, we'll know if any new stuff's been left behind, and we'll know if they're using the same old routes again. Until you have the bodies, you got to keep just pushing them and chase them and chase them and chase them relentlessly until, you can lock it down. But no, it's sad. There's trash all over our desert. It's horrible too. It's scattered all across. It doesn't matter if it's shit paper and clothes. I mean, it's everything, man. It's children's clothes, and you find children Mexican shoes way out in the desert, 40 miles north of the border, and you're like, who's dragging that?
The border fence is actually acting as a strainer. We were down at the border fence. And right at one wash, there were hundreds of the black water jugs that they use, hundreds of them stuck up against the Mexico side of the fence, because when it rains, it all washes north. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, it was
we got that film too.
Foot and a half deep of just nothing but black jugs and coyote shoes and clothing and all mixed with debris. It was just
and the thing is all that stuff, it's like, for all these people who supposedly care about the environment, man, boy, you go and talk to them and say, will you help us put a stop to this illegal trafficking that's killing our environment? Then they want to say they don't care about the environment no more.
Hey,
I don't know what the problem
can't
is.
come to the phone right now. Leave me a message and I'll give you a call back. Thanks.
Jeez, these people never learn, man. I swear. Sorry, guys. You know, I mean, it's seriously. I go to a lot of trouble to try to dial them back, and then what do? They call me back right in the middle of it and fuck it all up. I'm trying. You know, you guys are making my life hard for me. Come on, I'm not getting paid for this. Hello. You know, I apologize if I'm making light of this, you know, because seriously, guys, you know, I'm having fun. You know, if I was out there in the desert, we'd be hanging. We'd be, you know, you know how I'm, you know what I mean. I'm saying.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah. Oh well, come on. I don't have. You think you got transportation and just jump in a vehicle? It's like, come on. Driving to Phoenix is not an easy thing.
Come out here.
Yeah, we've got Australian patriots that's made it out here. You know, I tell everybody, all you gotta do is
desert.
All you gotta do is
I like it. Sorry.
Oh,
look. I'm sorry. We got a different call coming in here. 213 area code. Check that out, Skip. Okay, listen, you guys, keep going. I'm going to try to connect this 213 person, see who the hell this is. All right. I hope you don't mind going through all this crap. Sorry, go ahead.
The Aussies came down here, and if they can come across the friggin' planet, you can come across the country.
I tell these guys, you know, when I'm doing business and stuff, I tell them, it's like, you guys want me? You know, fly me a jet over here. Fly your private jet over here, come pick me up. That's pretty bad, huh? Bear with me. I'm trying to connect this 213 area code. They're like having a race to see who can dial faster. I swear, guys. One time.
Were you in Southern California?
Yeah, I'm out here in Southern California. I'm out in the ghetto area, actually. Look at this. They're all coming in now trying to talk, but again, I'm lucky if I can get one connected properly. Come on.
Hey, Steven, I'll just come down there and pick you up and bring you down here.
Well, dude, that's probably the only way it's going to work. You know,
you can do a live show down here on the border.
Oh, hell yeah. We can go. Hey, no, check it out. This is what I would want to do. I'd want to go to Queen Creek and go visit Volition Armament. That's what I would do. Serious. No, you guys take
There you go. We'll go do some shooting, and then we'll go down to Tucson.
All right. We can handle that. Hey, you know, I was in Tucson before a while back, and I remember the you know, when the rains, what do they call those things? You know what I'm saying? It's like stormy rain. Gosh, they're hot. Monsoon, that's it. And I remember the sandbags along the streets, and I'm thinking, man, you know, it's like, wow, what happened here, you know? Anyway, all right, listen, guys, we're getting down. The show's technically over. It's like we got 5 minutes to go, and I'm having fun and all that, and everybody's trying to call in, and it's just not working. I just, you know, when you guys don't cooperate with the program and you keep calling me 3 or 4 times and it doesn't work, it's like, come on, I can't do this. So let's just end it instead of going forever, because I think you guys are probably getting a little burned out too. And we really did cover the issues, and we can always do this again. It's not like I don't have your Skype. So let's just wrap it up. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to give the callers a chance to say something, and then they're going to hang up. So we'll start with Skip. Skip, you want to say anything and then leave us?
Sure.
Go for it.
I once camped out at Buttercup. It was in the Imperial Valley there, and I actually rode a dirt bike in through right next to the aqueduct, through somebody's backyard into Mexico. I parked the bike and I went into a pharmacy and I bought 90 Valiums in a package and partied through, and then rode back right out where I came, right back to my camp at the sand dunes.
Oh, gee, Skip, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Skip. All right, listen, the 213 caller. You're bad, Skip. I swear. All right, Skip, later on, man. Okay, adios, right?
All right.
I believe it.
All right, beat it. Beat it.
Yeah.
Go.
Just
All
do
right.
it. Bye.
Get out of here.
Bye.
Go. All right. All right, Brian. We're gonna have to do that. Seriously, we're gonna have to do that. Okay.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
you tell me when and we'll do it.
well,
I am gonna be busy for the next few months, but we can still make it happen.
you know damn well you got to clear this with a woman there. Okay, so
Cleared.
you work on that. Oh, is she right there? Is she listening?
No, she actually went out of town to go back east for her uncle passed away a little bit ago.
I see. Oh, bummer. All right. Well, listen. Thanks for being with us, and we'll talk to you next time. Okay.
Okay. Thank you guys down in Tucson, Lewis, Scott, all you guys. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
We appreciate your support.
All right. Get out of here. Thanks, Brian. All right. Brian's gone. All right. Listen, I feel really bad because there's this one caller that just like keeps calling and calling and calling, and it's like apparently they're not listening to the show because they would have heard me say, "Stop calling. I can't get you."
It's good because everybody can't operate their phone.
Yeah, they're a telephonic machine. They haven't learned to operate it yet. Okay, wait a minute. I gotta check who else we got here. Okay, Wallflower's gone. It's just you guys and me. All right, I'll tell you what. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do my little closing statements here, and you guys stick around, and I'll disconnect the server, play my little music and all that, and then we'll chat for a couple of minutes afterwards. But so stick around. But you be quiet while I do my little closing thing. Look at this 2 minutes.
Yeah, do your thing, man.
All right. No, wait. I'm going to give you, before I do that, man, this is your chance to say final message to the people. Okay, spit it out, man. This is it. Don't take forever. Just go for it.
All right. Anyone listening, I mean, we've basically given you a worldly look at the worldly fight we're doing, but there's also a spiritual one. So I ask everybody to just pray for these kids. Children were trafficked through that camp. Pray for revelation and for the liars that change their stories. Pray for more exposure so people understand that, it's just wrong. What they did and how they tried to cover it up is wrong. And we ask you guys just to remove the hate from the heart and just to pray for our teams out here. We're down here in the Yuma sector right now. We're right down here on the border. We're hitting an area and we're doing we got more flags going up. If you can get out and help us, just come on out. www.backthebrawl.com and just keep us in your prayers. And I'm grateful to my God and my Lord and Savior for having our back and keeping us sane out here, But thank you guys for all your support. Michael or Crash, anything? Or
yeah, I just wanted to thank all the donors and everybody that's donated and helped VOP and helped the mission. We couldn't survive without you, and I just really appreciate it. And I just want to thank you guys for that.
All I want to say is I would not be here if I had not seen with my own eyes that there is definitely God leading Lewis. Stuff has happened because of us going with Lewis where Lewis felt he needed to go. And the stuff would not have happened. It cannot be a coincidence. Stuff had to happen in the exact way it happened when we were out searching for us to find what we found. God is leading him. I have no doubt about that. That's why I'm here. So if anybody has that, the belief that God is leading, then believe what's going on. We're fighting the fight because God is showing us what to do through Lewis.
All right. Thanks, guys. All right. That's good enough. Okay. Let me just, I want to take a quick rundown here. We still got a whole bunch of listeners. And of course, the woman I finally, while you were talking, I got a hold of that 213 woman, and unfortunately, I told her that I was going to get her in here. But one more time, just I'm looking at the list of all the listeners here from all over the country, all over the world here, English speaking, of course. But Russia's still there. Russia made it through the entire show. How about that? All right, guys, listen. I want to thank you for being here. And, of course, if people have questions, certainly when this goes up on the YouTube, you guys will be able to respond, follow up on what people say, and, leave information, contact information, whatever. Let's see what else we want to say. Okay, this is Veterans on Patrol. You've got Lewis Arthur. Let's see, Michael Lewis Arthur. What was your last name?
Meyer.
Meyer, that's it. Michael Lewis, Arthur Meyer, and gang, buddies, vets, etc. out there and you're out in the desert somewhere in Yuma right now.
We're probing the Yuma sector. There's been 3 major busts with people trafficking unaccompanied minor. Border Patrol has been just getting hammered in this sector. And usually when they got their hands tied in one area, they're sneaking children around the other side. So we want to get to the other side since they're moving so many children through here.
All right. Okay. Very good. All right. Once again, thanks for being here. I'm going to go ahead and take over right now and just remind everybody that this is the Stephen D. Kelley Show. And my name is Stephen D. Kelley, and this is Truth Cat Radio, www.truthcatradio.com. I want to remind everybody to join our Facebook page, Truth Cat Radio Facebook page. Also, all the Truth Cat Radio groups, the Truth Cat groups, and very, very importantly, our QAnon group. So when you look for it, it'll be the yeah. Shut up, you guys. I'm talking, man. Okay, this is my time. You shush. Well, we'll chat as soon as I'm done doing my little sign off here, but don't interrupt me, okay? Because people bitch at me. They go, "Oh, you're wasting time." Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah. Okay, I'm all screwed up now. See what you did? Okay, never mind. Again, yeah, send us money. No, we are listener supported, and that means that every once in a while, so many of you will drop a few bucks in the PayPal, and that's how we pay for our Skype and our server and our domain and our host and software and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff it doesn't pay for, obviously, electricity, food for me, that kind of thing, but it does allow us to even expand, okay? Because like I said, like right now, QAnon is under attack. And remember, our QAnon page is Q- which is a minus sign, people, ANON. Okay, that's the Facebook group. Go join that one. All right, not the one that says QAnon White Rabbit. That's a shill group. That'll be the big one. We're like the second biggest. Anyway, join that group. And then of course the Reddit page got shut down recently, so we started another one, which is QAnonCat.com. Okay, that's a Reddit style page. We also have another network, a non-Facebook social media pro whatever you call those things, which is what is it? Okay, it's www.truthcats, okay, with a S, plural, CATS, Truth Cats. Okay, go to that, sign up. Excuse me, it's just like Facebook, and there's quite a few people there now, but again, this is a backup for if we get kicked off of Facebook, kicked off Reddit, whatever, okay? Also, if you are listening, you're a member of QAnon, you want to email me, because that way we have communication and I can communicate with you and let you know where to go should any of our pages get shut down and we lose communication, which they're trying to do so much with us right now. And my email again is law17gun@aol.com. And of course, if you want my book, email me. And if you're going to donate, use the Stephen Kelley 714 Gmail. And please do not send any correspondence to that. All right. Thank you very much. Now, again, it is September 13th, 2018. It is now 9:05. We've only gone a little over, but we started a little bit late. Again, I want to thank all of the people that tuned in tonight live. Obviously, I'm very grateful for you guys taking the time to be with us and sticking with us throughout the entire show. I want to thank all the callers. And Keith, thank you for being a gentleman. And I could tell that you were, a little tense and all that, but you kept it together. And Lewis, thank you for not calling Keith a dick or something or whatever. And it was, very good on you. And I too owe it all to Jesus. I'm not afraid to say that, and anybody that's been listening to this network or this my program knows that. There's no mistaking that, and you can't do anything without Jesus. You can't, and if you can't recognize a God, I mean, it's just the way it is, okay? And those of us that are in this fight, the reason why we have no fear and the reason why we can go up against these billionaires and these murderous cartels and this sort of thing is because we do have Jesus, and we know that it doesn't matter if we get to go home. Happy day. All right. We don't get to go home until it's time to go home. and we're done doing what we were put here to do. And we were all put here to do something. So whatever it is that you're out there doing or not doing, you don't criticize what the other person is doing if you're doing nothing. I'll say that for sure. But if you're listening to the show, I'll give you credit for doing something because you're learning. And that's what it's really all about. And it's two-way street, though. You got to turn around and teach. So share what you learned tonight. Tell everybody about Carlos Slim. Tell everybody about Rothschild, Mayor Rothschild. Tell everybody about Tucson, about Yuma, about the Indian reservations, about the border, about all that stuff, about Clinton, Asarco. Let's bring Asarco into this. Let's not forget Carlos Slim. Anyway, you guys, that's it for me. But I'm just going to say, once again, thank you for being here. My name is Stephen Kelley. This is Truth Cat Radio. Good night. God bless. Adios and goodbye.